Alright, so we're rolling out the blue mat, which means I got something to review or something I can take apart. This is the MeLE this thing right here is the Quieter 3C. This is a Windows 11 Pro, literally fanless mini PC. This is a Intel Celeron N5105. It does have 16 gigabytes of DDR4 memory, but that's soldered to the memory board, so non-upgradable. The base units come with either 128, this one's 256 gigabytes of eMMC storage, so that's also not upgradable. But there is a spot for an M.2 SSD. Mine came with a 256 SSD already installed. Now I've been looking to get one of these because I wanted something that I can have on all the time, low power, and is known to be pretty reliable or consistent. We have the instruction manual here. Gonna pull it out. On the front, you have the power switch. On the right hand side here, you have 3 USB 3.0 ports. On the rear of it, you have a fully functioning USB Type-C port. This is supposed to do audio, video. That's the difference between the Quieter 3C and the Quieter 3Q. I believe the Q just has an extra USB 3.0 port there. The C has the Type-C. Right next to that, you have the audio jack. Right above that is an SD card reader. This is what's interesting, is because on the package I have, it actually says this is a display port, but it has 2 HDMI ports on this one. Then you're going to have the Type-C that is basically just used for power, is that this is 12 volts at 2 amps. Then you have a gigabit Ethernet port. Then on the side here, you have just what's the Kensington lock. So if you want to mount it and lock it so no one takes it, you can. On the top, you have underneath these stickers here, which it suggests you remove, because you have little micro fins, they call it. This is part of the cooling. It uses air to cool the actual unit. The top gets pretty hot, especially first plugging it in, doing all the Windows updates. On the bottom, you have the 2 little screw holes for a VESA mount adapter. This is a tiny little VESA mount. You just mount this to the back, comes with the screws for it. It also comes with a power adapter, 2 little plugs that snap in here. One is for the European and one is for, I guess you could say, the North American outlet. And that's pretty much it. Nothing else left in the box. So we're just gonna plug it in here. You're gonna see the first initial boot up with me. So let's see what happens. We've got the Intel load up screen.
A few moments later.
And hey, we got this is actually kind of the standard or basic Windows 11 install, which is good. We don't have it already set up in the admin account. We can make our own account. We can set it up how we want to. This is a fresh Windows install. Gonna take a minute and do all that and get back to you real quick.
A few minutes later. A little longer than a few minutes later.
And back with that. And yeah, it didn't install anything really proprietary. There's no bloatware other than Windows 11 itself. Just taking a look around, just gonna kind of look at it. It does have 16 gigabytes of RAM. It does have, it's got 2 types of storage. So it's got a 256 gigabyte eMMC as the main C drive, and then it has a 256 gigabyte M.2 SSD as the D drive. The listing made it seem like it was 512 gigabytes of eMMC, and then I could be able to put an SSD in there, which was what I was hoping for. So I'm a little disappointed with that. But it's still 512, so it'll work. You know what? Let's take it apart. Let's see what it looks like a little bit here. I just want to make sure that is in this M.2 SSD and not they took the memory and partitioned it or something like that. So let's take it apart. Let's see what it looks like inside. This part open, maybe.
A few moments later.
There we go. Only slightly. And we have, okay. So we got a thermal pad right here. Probably we're sticking it to the, yeah, you can see we're sticking to the residue here, to these. Got M.2, which is why it has 512 instead of the normal 256. Underneath this is a 256 gigabyte M.2 SSD. Kind of wanted the one that had, it said it was 500, so I 512 on storage, and then I was going to throw an extra SSD in here, but we'll keep it as is. Now you can take this off, flip it over, you have the CPU on the other side, and the rest of this is just a giant heat sink. All this is a heat sink that just kind of goes through these fins and off. Can't upgrade the RAM. It's on the other side soldered in. The only thing upgradable is this M.2 SSD. So put it back. Pretty much the same thing. Just line these up. Goes the same way, I'm assuming.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
And there we go. Pretty portable, pretty small. Fingerprint magnet on the bottom, but you really don't want to be holding this. It gets hot. Updating on for a while, doing anything substantially decent. I've heard it's recommended to actually remove these labels. It seems like it's what they want you to do. Labels off. Discrete little black box, full PC inside here, but this should help with the ventilation and help with the cooling. Well, that's it for this video. I will release another video soon, kind of a follow-up showing some figures, answer some questions of what this can do. If you have any games or anything you want me to try and put on it, I'll try, but I ran Cinebench and is currently still running. Once I have some figures, I'll make a follow-up video. Until next time.